Welcome back, everybody, to the Nosebleeds podcast. I am Chris Witt, and with me, as always, is Mr. Adam Schmidt. Adam, how are you today, sir?
Chris, I'm doing well. How about yourself?
Well.
Mhm.
Okay. I am doing phenomenal. I it's sitting in my house today. Um, a package came. I was sitting right there at the dining room table, and a pink package with a bow shows up at my house, along with a very cute man, Adam Schmidt. A box
Oh,
of crumble cookies. My first birthday present.
that's right. Happy birthday to you. Your birthday is tomorrow from the time we're recording this,
Yes.
and your 41st birthday.
41, my friend. 41.
How's that feel?
I feels a lot like 40.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, you're not there yet. You might wake up tomorrow and feel
I could.
completely different.
I could. You know what I'm learning is I used to be able to just cut a few things out, even in my late 30s into like close to 40. I could just cut a few things out and I'd drop 5 pounds in a week. Like,
Sure.
no problem. Now, after that five, it was tough. It's not there anymore, bud.
Oh yeah.
Not there anymore. Hovering,
Well, I'm
hovering.
not I'm not helping you out any with
That's
the
okay.
cookies, but
No big deal. Trust me, I'm not a big, it's okay. We're going to Punta Cana in a couple weeks. I got a belly. I got a belly. What do I care?
you're gonna wear the bikini anyway,
Yeah, probably.
you know?
Yeah. It's
Um,
adults only
oh,
at this place.
okay.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to it.
Okay.
It's gonna be a good time.
Good for you. So then yeah, speedo it up, right?
They have white party and neon party, and I got a white Speedo with like this neon blue and pink feather that goes across it. Oh yeah.
Boy, a white Speedo, you got to really make sure everything's taken care of.
You ain't kidding. I'm gonna have to bleach it a couple times. Oh yeah, 100%. I'm bringing the toilet wipes with me. There's
Yeah,
no doubt about that, brother. I
that's a
gotta
good
keep
thing.
that. I gotta keep that thing clean,
That's the
especially
thing.
with all the food you can eat and all
Oh,
that stuff. Oh yeah, I'm gonna have to keep that backside
man.
clean as a whistle, my friend. No doubt.
You know what I was thinking of? Speaking of that, maybe just yesterday. Um, when are they going to invent the portable bidet? The one
Uh,
that you can take
There's
with
got to
you.
be one. I mean, technically, all you need is a wrench,
Yeah,
and you can take one of them toilet seat bidets with you anywhere you want to go.
sure. But you're not going to spend all that time doing that.
No
But
chance.
you just, I mean, I guess you could just get like a squirt bottle that
Oh
has
yeah.
a good stream
Yeah,
and
it's got to be you got to be able to get a good, and you can't really see.
yeah.
So, you're
Well,
gonna
yeah,
need a
there's
lot of water
yeah.
because you're gonna have to get a big squish. And if you miss, you got to readjust and then give another one. And that, I mean, just one big squirt, I don't trust it as much as a steady stream. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
And I can stay open
Mhm.
and move a little bit and make sure that, it's like when you're cleaning a little bit of poop residue off the toilet with your pee.
Sure,
You know
yes.
what I mean? It
Yeah,
feels
yeah.
like that. Like I move around a little bit, clean any kind of residue around the hole
Yes, yes,
out
yes, yes.
with the bidet stream.
That's the technique with the any kind of bidet. Yeah.
Exactly. I feel like that's it. There are people out there that don't even have toilet paper in their house.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, they just have like hand towels. So like you drop a deuce in their house and you got to spray off and then you just damp dry. You get rid of that bad boy. I mean, nobody else is
Yeah.
using that, but you just got a stack of those. They just wash them. It's ready to go.
That's crazy to me, but yeah, I gotta I gotta have something I can
Save
throw
on
away
toilet
right
paper, man.
away.
Save on toilet paper.
Yeah. Yeah. I really don't use toilet paper. The wipe, I use the wipes
Yeah,
after the bidet,
yeah.
and it's wet, but it's dry enough that it'll soak
That
up.
it still soaks
Yeah.
enough of that up.
Yeah.
Sure.
And I get the extra
I love that you're
clean.
using the bidet consistently.
That changed
Love
my
it.
life.
It's the greatest thing in the entire world.
That's right.
Okay. On that note, speaking of changing your life, you had a life altering event as you is it called the serpentine belt or whatever belt, or was it just the alternator? And then you had oil leaking. What all happened? Let's finish up the story from last week's absolute debacle out at work.
Yeah. So just the quick recap is the car went out, got it towed, got it towed to the dealership, and got the call the next day. That's where we left it off. Got the call the next day after they got a chance to look at it. It was the alternator,
Mhm.
like we thought, and the battery because of that. And then the radiator T. Didn't know what that was.
Sounds like, I mean, when I think of T, I'm thinking of two hoses coming in and then it goes into the radiator or comes out of the radiator and two hoses coming out.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
So,
That seems like an easy fix.
yes,
Okay.
that was the by far the cheapest.
Good.
Yes.
That's good.
That was what so it wasn't oil, it was coolant coming out of there, leaking out of there.
He couldn't tell the difference. This dude was going to change your thing and he didn't know the difference between the smell of coolant.
Yeah, I
Coolant
don't
has a distinct smell to it.
I didn't smell anything to be honest with you. But anyway, it was that's what it was.
Okay.
And so that needed and I don't know how that a little piece from it broke off. And my brother-in-law was like, he's a mechanic. He's like, I think he like sat the jumper cable box or whatever. There's like a box you
Mm-hmm.
have, and he's like, I think he set it on there or something and chipped the little part off or something. He's like, that just doesn't just like
Done jive.
come off or
Yeah.
whatever. Yeah.
Done jive.
So anyway, that's what it was. Um, the folks at the dealership tell me $1,325 to make
Whoa.
those repairs. And so I'm like,
Whoa.
that is
So that's the thing about the dealership. Number one, you're going to get a brand new alternator. A lot of times you can get a rebuilt alternator for a lot cheaper. Number two, their labor is almost always higher than everybody else's labor. Was it broke down separately? Could you see how much they charge for labor?
no. So that was just like a verbal quote
Okay.
over the phone. So I said, the guy was nice enough. He's like, you don't have to tell us right now. Think about it. Call
Hmm.
me back. Let me know if you want us to do
Or
any
you
or all
can
this
tow it
repair.
out of here or do whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. So I hang up. I'm like, that is so, I don't know cars well enough to know how much things cost,
Yeah.
but that feels like way too much. So anyway, I call my dad. He's like, that's too much. That's way too
And
much.
once they told you what it was, he was probably like, "Oh, we can just do this."
Yes.
Yeah.
And the alternator on some cars apparently is buried under stuff. You got to take stuff apart and take the whole front end apart. On mine, right there on top.
Perfect.
Easy fix. So he said, call Doug, my brother-in-law. And so I texted him. He was at work. And I said, what do you think? This is what they're saying needs to be fixed. This is what they're charging me. He's like, that sounds like way too much.
Yeah.
So I start calling around to to see where else I can get this towed that's gonna,
Mhm.
do it a little bit cheaper. So I called one place and they're like, they told me how much it would cost to do the alternator and the battery, and they're like, I need to see the radiator tee and see what it looks
Yeah,
like.
we
And
can't guarantee anything. That just seems weird, probably.
right,
Yeah.
yeah. He's like, I just need to look at that, but we can do it for like 800 something bucks or whatever.
Mhm.
So I'm like, okay, well, that's definitely better.
Yeah.
Still a lot, but definitely better. So a little bit after that, my brother-in-law calls me. He's like, man, have it towed to my house. I'll fix it Saturday. Oh, man,
Heck yeah.
what a lifesaver. So that's what I did. Had it towed to his house.
So, did you get a rebuilt alternator? Did you get a brand new alternator? What'd you get?
So he ordered it. I think it might have been a refurbished alternator. I think.
Which is fine. They do. I mean,
Yeah.
I've put those on car. I've not I personally haven't. I've watched my dad put it
Yeah,
on my car
yeah, yeah.
before. But yeah,
Um, yeah. So I don't know. I think my dad said something about that. So I don't know if he definitely got one or he was just looking at them or whatever. But he knows. I mean, he knows cars
sure.
front to back. I mean, my brother-in-law does. So he got a good battery, a good alternator, threw them on there. Got the radiator tee, threw it on there. That was only like $17 or something like that.
Hmm.
And so that was it. So I
I bet you got all of that battery, alternator, and that T for under $300.
it was not.
Oh,
It was not. It was around five.
was it?
It was
Okay.
around five, but still,
Yeah.
he did, and I gave him a few extra bucks for his trouble because I didn't even want him to do it because I'm like,
It's
dude, you
taking time
work,
out of your
yeah,
life.
you
You
work
work all
all day,
day.
you got
Yeah.
little kids and stuff. So, but he's like, nah, it's not a big deal.
Mhm.
Just I'll do it. So,
Some people like that, like doing that stuff. Like for a lot of years, I think my
mhm.
dad loved when people would come to him to get stuff done. I think he
Yeah,
liked it. Then he got to a point where he started telling people, no. Nope, I'm not.
Yeah.
Nope, I'm done. Like you get to an age, right, where you're just not. You just don't want to be on the ground in a bunch of grease. So,
Right. Yeah. I think my dad's done that too with like home improvement projects. Like everybody knows he can do anything.
yep.
And so, but he always has projects going on at 4 or 5 different houses at the same time. So then somebody else will come by and say, "Hey, my dishwasher's out or my whatever's.
Hmm.
What do you think about my deck? Does it need to be can you come by and look?" And he'll be like, "I can look at it. I can't
I'm
I
not
can't
doing
take
it.
on all these
Yeah,
jobs. You kidding
I'm
me?"
retired.
Yeah, yeah. But so anyway, yes, but there's definitely, it gives you like a sense of purpose and stuff when you can do something,
Yeah,
people come to you for it.
you have a specific skill. It's really cool.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So anyway, it was a lot of help from my dad, from my sister, from my brother-in-law on that. I mean, I got it done for half the price it was going to cost me.
That's awesome.
So yeah, very very grateful for that. So it's all good. I've been driving it around for a few days now, and it's
Back
all
in.
good.
Well, congratulations. Happy to hear that.
Thank you.
Look, what this is something that I'm very adamant about when
Mm,
it comes to family. I truly believe that people that I tell my sister all the time, call me. If
mm,
I can't do it or dad can't, she usually calls my dad and then she'll call somewhere else. Just happened the other day with something. She called dad. Dad had, was like, I think that's what it is, but that thing's burned up. Need to figure out what it is. And never called me. I know like 4, 5 different people that do HVAC. Like, call me. I'll get somebody to come take a look at it at least, and then we can figure it out. And if it's something I can fix, I'll fix it.
mhm,
Never got a call. It's going to cost an arm and a leg. I still don't,
mm.
still, you know what? I haven't done anything about that. I did take the picture that she took and never, I got to get that figured out. I wonder if I'm sure she already did something, but I know that we could fix it.
Is her AC out?
I don't know if it still is.
Sure hope not.
She doesn't talk to me about this stuff. Like, talk to me. That's what family's for. We figure people.
Yeah,
I know a lot of people,
you
and
do.
I don't mean that in like I mean, we all know a lot of people.
Yeah.
We can figure it between the family. We can all figure something out. We'll
You've
figure it
had
out.
you've had 41 years of meeting people.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
got a
Yeah.
you got a big Rolodex, man.
I'm ready to go, man. Let's
Yeah,
do this. We can figure this out.
right.
We figure this out.
I agree. Yep. My family came through for me. It was nice.
That's so cool. I love that. I love hearing that stuff. Love
Yep.
that.
It was great.
Good. All right. So I got one for you. First off, you said you have Reese's.
I do.
All right, let's get these Reese's out. Let's see what we got here.
Okay. This is a festive one here,
It's got
right?
to be festive because there's
Every
not a lot of new stuff.
right. Every time there's a holiday, you're gonna get but
The holiday ones are my favorite because a lot of times it looks like they just redo something from a different holiday.
and it's funny you say that, pal, because
What do we
we
got?
have we have bats and ghosts.
Oh, I love it.
So these are so small that I gave us each two of each,
Oh my
just so you could
God.
make sure you taste
Jeez,
them.
Pete.
But bats and ghosts, and they are the little mini ones. Um,
So this is starting to get to me. So they've been doing this a lot lately on the Reese's, and I got a little problem with this. So you're not gonna be able to see this, but on the wrapper, the bat and the ghosts have like chocolate off of where the eyes would be, and you can see to the peanut butter.
mhm.
When I open this, it's not gonna happen. And it's disappointing.
I'm telling you,
Don't show me a ghost and then give me a blob, or don't show me a bat and make it look like a bow tie.
yeah, yeah. Uh, I'm just, I don't want to ruin it for you, but
There
I
it is.
can't tell which one this is.
That
I don't
looks
look at the wrap.
that looks like I'm gonna say that is a ghost. That looks like a turd.
This is a ghost.
Although I
This
would
is
eat, I mean, it's not too far from the bat. Could be the same thing. Um, I
It,
would eat I would eat a Reese's turd. I would eat
yeah,
that.
of course.
Yeah, if they're like, hey, poop emoji, we're selling poop emojis and Reese's
Mhm.
in a heartbeat. Now, these are going to be delicious because these little ones they usually do a really good job.
They pack it with peanut butter, but I mean, are you just going taste,
Hmm.
or do you take some points off for the look?
I'm not because I would eat 100 of these.
Yeah, I already have. Because they come in a big bag, but
Oh, this is Halloween candy. This is legit. This is
this
like
is
what you
Halloween
give
candy.
out for Halloween candy.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. So I
So
got a bag for work and a bag for home.
nice. Last year, so cool about doing this podcast and having all the Reese's.
Mhm.
The last Christmas and last Halloween, my niece just gives constantly gives me a ton of Reese's like Halloween and Christmas stuff. For Christmas, she got me like this giant bag of nothing but Christmas Reese's stuff. It was amazing. It was perfect.
I remember that. That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, people know me as the Reese's guy too.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody at work knows me as the Reese's guy. All right, I
So
please.
no, go ahead. What were you gonna say?
I was gonna say, rating these things, I've got them listed separately, like it was gonna be different. It's this same exact thing. There's a little
A
notch
little
in a
nub,
different
a
place
little
or
nub,
something.
and the
Yeah,
one end is just a hair thicker.
yeah.
All right, I'm going 9898.
Yeah, I mean, you're gonna have the same score for both because it's exactly the same thing. 9898. And I am I'm gonna take a couple of tenths of a point off. Um, for that very reason.
Do
I
it
put a little bit more effort into the shape of it.
into the shape, or don't tease us with the wrapper.
Yeah, that's a totally computer generated what you want it to look like.
Yeah,
The machine is not set up that way.
no, it's not like carving a little bit of chocolate out for eyes. And if it did, that'd be super cool.
Yeah.
It happened with the medals. It happened with the footballs. I'm not happy. I'm not because the footballs were just the Easter eggs.
Yes. 100%.
That's all they were.
Absolutely. I'm going 9595.
All right. I think I'm going to 9.7 and not 9.8. 9.8's
97.
wait 9.8 was too high.
Okay.
I'm gonna go 9.7.
I got you.
9.7. All right. So now that we got that out of the way, I got some news. I'm going to be doing something I've never done before.
Ooh, what do you got?
So the little girls, my girls,
Yeah.
third grade has select basketball tryouts.
Wow.
Okay. Select
Really?
basketball tryouts for third grade girls who just got done playing little dribblers. Some of them played third grade rec last year when they were in second grade. You could tell the difference.
Okay.
Um, so they had enough girls, and you know how our what is it called? Our school district is. They like to make sure that if you come to tryouts, you got a really, really good chance of being on a team.
Yeah.
So there are two third grade girls select basketball
Oh
teams.
boy.
My girls did not make the first team,
Well,
but they already had a coach for that, who was their coach last year, who that dude deserves it. His kids were good. His kid was good. He's an amazing basketball coach. He did more for them than any other little dribbler coach did and I've ever seen. Very good dude. However, they didn't have anybody for that second team. So I
hey.
get to coach. I am going to be the head coach. I got the list the other day. Not a single other parent listed on there that they would be an assistant coach. Okay, it's not a problem. We can figure this out. And a little nervous, bud. These little there's a couple that I saw during tryouts that were a little crazy, and I'm hoping they're not on this team.
Mm.
Like not good, didn't look like very respectful, just didn't care. But you know how they do it. They're like, well, we've got enough for two teams. They had like 20 kids come out or 22 kids, and they've got two teams of nine. So
Mm.
it's 18.
So they had to cut for?
One of them was a second grader. So they're just like, well, you're in second grade. You come back next year.
Okay. Yeah. I'm very excited for you.
I am.
Very excited.
This is going to be the most difficult thing I think I've had to do.
It's gonna be third grade girls is gonna be tough.
This is going to be the most difficult thing I think I've ever had to do.
Yeah.
I mean, boys, at least by the time I got to third grade boys, it was a select baseball team tryout. I got, I had 70 kids, 60 kids come out. and I got to take the best of the best and do, I got to figure out the best of what was there.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the second, this is what was left after everything was done. So, and then it has to be run somewhat like a select, if you want to call it that, team, because the parents have that in the old dome piece, right? Like, I'm not playing the preseason tournament. I can promise you that. I'm not doing any of that stuff. That's not happening.
Yeah. This
But
is about development, man.
that's what it's
It's
all
all
about.
about skill development.
Fundamentals and development, man.
Mhm.
That's all we want to do. We just want to be better on the last day than we were on the first day.
100%.
That's all we want to do.
That's right.
So I'm going to be having a whole lot of conversations with you about, Bud, I need some help. What do I need to do with this? What do I need to do here?
My first head coaching job was a third grade boys team,
Yeah, that's right.
St. Catherine. Um, yeah, I mean, I was in my early 20s, I think,
Mhm.
still, and that was that was different. I'm sure I was a way different coach then than I
Yeah.
would do it than I
Yeah.
would be now. But um, yes,
I got to go get a
absolutely fun.
whistle.
Yeah,
I got to go get a whistle. I found out that in basketball, whistles are very important.
yeah.
I don't use a whistle for baseball in any way, shape, or form.
I so when I was coaching freshman girls, I had a whistle. I brought it with me every day. I used it once in a while. Mostly I didn't though,
Yeah.
because we were usually practicing by ourselves.
Yeah.
So it was just us in the gym. They were able to hear me. I
Yeah.
just, yelled stop or whatever.
That's the thing that I know that we're gonna have to go somewhere and be in a middle school gym with three other
Yeah.
teams, and then I know how my boys were when the other team would blow a whistle and everybody wants to turn around and look. I feel bad, but look, I'm blowing a whistle to get these girls' attention because they're.
You need to.
Mhm.
You need to.
I got to get a whistle.
Yes.
Getting a whistle.
Yeah, oh man. I'm excited. So when does everything start? Like,
I don't have all the details yet. Right now, I'm just I'm told to get uniform sizes ASAP.
oh, all right.
That's it. That's all I
All
got
right.
so far.
Aren't at that age, aren't they all just like
Small and extra small.
small? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's just like
Yeah.
give me the smallest unis you got, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. But
Well, that's exciting.
yeah.
Okay. All right. I'm pumped for that. Yeah. You got how many days worth of practice plans do you have scheduled so far or
Zero.
planned out?
I have none yet.
Wow.
This is good. So that's the other thing too.
Have you
Uh,
broken down film at all yet?
no, I didn't even get to watch tryouts. Aaron watched all the tryouts, so I'm gonna have to ask her how it went. But I had to take Parker to baseball while the tryouts were going on.
That's what I was thinking. You don't have an assistant coach. What about the lovely wife?
She wouldn't do it.
No.
No, she helped me with softball, but she never played basketball. I mean, she might have played a little bit, but she definitely she was uncomfortable with softball, and she played
She
that
played
all the way
softball.
through sophomore year.
Yeah.
So basketball, I would it's a lot. I mean, I would love for her to help me, but
Yeah.
I might
She's
be
not
asking
into it.
you.
That's
I
okay.
might be asking you here soon, bud. Might be asking you here soon.
I did have a conversation about a couple coaching opportunities the other day.
Good.
So I'm thinking about it, but I kind of need to see what happens the next couple of months in some other areas. So
I feel you. I feel
so
you.
I'm gonna be yeah. But yeah, there may be some opportunities there. But hey, look, if I don't end up doing anything, I'll be at every single game, every practice, whatever you need me to do.
If you end up not doing anything, I might just have you you'll be the head coach. I'll be the head coach on paper.
Nope. I see. I gotcha.
Yeah.
No, I would just be I would be your assistant. I'd go get
That
you
took care of
coffee.
everything. Yeah,
I'd
you
bring
would
you
take care of
coffee
everything.
and
Adam, what do we need to do next? Adam, what do we need to do next? Adam, what should we do next?
you've been coaching
I
basketball.
have, and I have learned a lot of things that I thought didn't mean anything in basketball. Like I'll never forget the very first practice Parker had in third grade. I was the assistant coach on his team, and the head coach went to all these coaches things with the guys from Oak Hills, and comes back with all this stuff they want to do, this Pound It series and all these other things, and then they want us to have a tournament in a week. And I'm looking at him, I'm like, you can take all this, pound it, and stick it. As far as I'm concerned,
You can
these kids,
pound it.
they need to learn how to run an offense of some kind. They don't know what they're doing. And come to find, you know what? I think that's actually one of the more important things at the beginning of every practice to do. Would have probably been to have do that a little bit more. Uh,
Yeah.
the next couple years that we did it at the beginning of every single practice, and you could really see a difference in ball handling. And if you can't dribble, it's going to get taken
Can't
from
run
you.
an offense.
You can't run an offense. So it doesn't really matter if you focus on an offense if nobody can run it. So,
Yep. If
so there you
everybody's
go.
traveling, then
Yep. A lot of pivots. We're going to do a lot of pivots and a lot of
dribbling's
dribbling.
huge.
That's how it's going to start in the beginning. A lot of pivots, a lot of dribbling,
Yep.
and a little bit of passing. So I don't even care if they can make a basket at this point in time. Doesn't matter. Let's just look like we know what we're doing.
Yes.
Right.
100%.
So there are things that I've learned from watching other people and what they've done.
Good. Good. That's how every coach gets better. Everybody learns from everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. Very exciting.
Yeah, I know.
Very
Yeah,
cool.
I'm excited and a little nervous at the same time. So I was telling Aaron, I was like, man, I put on there that I would be an assistant for him because Parker's not going to need a coach this year. Not to say that he's guaranteed to make a team, but the top two teams have their own head coach now. There's no parents coaching it. So it's like, well, not like, oh, yeah, well, he's making one of those. He should after the last couple of years. I feel like that should happen.
So you will not be coaching his
So
basketball.
I will not be coaching boys. So I was like, it's not the girls always get the shaft when it comes to everything because I'm never able to be there for them.
Yeah.
They're always second fiddle. Now for this basketball season, they will be first fiddle.
Love it.
So if they got a game, Parker's got a game. Sorry, P. Not gonna be there, homeboy.
Mm-hmm.
I will be at the girls and take care of that. Aaron get to go to the Parkers. So
I love it.
That's also a tough one.
Yeah,
But,
sure.
gotta figure it out.
Oh,
Gotta
sure.
figure it out. So yeah, I told Aaron after I saw that, after they sent the email and said that the girls had been on the second team, let me know if you accept. I was like, I feel like I need to see if they need help. Like I need to ask them if they need help. I need to respond. I'm talking to Aaron. She's like, just you put on there, you'll be an assistant coach. I'm sure they'll ask you if they need somebody. So I responded back, let me know if you need I'd be happy to help in any way I can. And then I text the president of the basketball, who's the guy I coached with the last 2 years. I said, hey, is there a head coach for the second girls third grade team yet? Nope. You want to do it? And I was like, I'll ask. I'll let her know. Just I'll be there if you need it. Text me back. Put a good word in for you. Don't have to put a good word in when no one else wants to coach it. Yeah. So this should be interesting. This is going to be an interesting.
It is going to be interesting.
I'm excited though. I'm excited. I get to give the girls a lot more of my time that they don't usually get when it comes to sports. I don't know if that's going to be a good thing. Could bump heads a lot with one of them. One of them we might fight. Yeah, we might fight.
Okay. Well,
But
that's
yeah.
all right.
All right, so that's that.
I'll tell you what. You just got a coaching job. About the same time somebody else lost one.
It was the day before. It was the day before David Bell gets canned with what 6 games left.
Yeah, so weird.
What are your thoughts on? So I was like, everybody gets canned, whatever it is, what it is. I started thinking about it. You know what? You're right. My dad was texting me. He's very upset about it. They've done it to quite a few people with like 5, 6, 7, 8 games. And it's like, yeah, we want to get a jump start on being the first ones to hire somebody and all that stuff. I don't know about all that. Number two, it just doesn't feel right. Like 6 games. Seriously, just let the dude finish it out, man. Like fire him after the last game. Who cares?
Yep.
Let him know it's coming. Just let him eke it out with his team. Who knows? I heard something from a guy yesterday. I was in West Virginia. Tons of Reds fans in West Virginia, sitting in a little cigar lounge. And we were talking about it. And he goes, oh, that was the day that they found out it was impossible for them to be over 500 to have a winning record.
Oh.
He said, I guarantee they told him at the beginning of the year, with this team, if you don't have a winning record, this is it. So apparently that loss was the loss that made it to where they could not have a winning record. It was impossible for them to have a winning record. And I was like, man, it's the only thing in my head that makes sense. So I think I might stick with that. I guess I'm okay with it that way. If you had the conversation,
even
already beforehand.
even so,
But if you had the conversation like, all right, here's the deal. If you're 40 games under 500, you're fired, right? Like as soon as you can't have a winning season, you're done. That's it. And that was established. I'm okay with that. If it was I don't know what was
I
established.
would be surprised if that was like this, if it was that detailed a thing. But I guess I don't know. Yeah, we've seen it before. Uh, I, I don't know. It is still really weird to me. And the same thing every time a new manager or a manager gets fired before somebody else comes in. It's like, who's going to come in here and completely turn this thing around?
Well, there's no salary cap in baseball, and Elon Musk doesn't own the team. So we're going to have the exact same team for the next 5 years.
That's right.
Unless we get lucky and get a span of 3 years with a ton of young talent and some arms that stay healthy.
Mm-hmm.
If we don't have arms that stay healthy, we're not going to win.
Yeah.
So it doesn't really matter. None of that matters. And if you don't have the money to bring on veteran arms, then you have to hope and pray that young arms stay healthy. And 80% of young arms do not stay healthy.
Yeah.
Because everyone is a thrower right now. Nobody pitches. Everyone it's radar gun, radar gun, radar gun, spin rate, spin rate, spin rate. How high? Who cares? Greg Maddox, his spin rate was probably insane.
Yeah.
But his, I mean, he threw 87, 88, right? Like, hey, I topped it up to 90. You know what I mean? Like,
Yes.
come on, stop being throwers and learn how to pitch. And then you don't have as much arm issues because you're not overthrown.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, you need your Daniel Ray Herrera's and your I mean his fastball is like 55.
Mike Leake, Bronson Arroyo,
Yes,
right? I
exactly.
know.
Um yeah,
Herrera, that's the truth too. There's just none of those. It is so hard. I watch college baseball, and there are a lot of really, really good pitchers in college baseball, and you don't ever see them make it to the major league level. A lot of them get drafted. A lot of them play in the minor leagues, but you don't ever see them get drafted because that 100-mile-an-hour average fastball, that 99, that 97-mile-an-hour slider, that stuff like that. That's gonna that has proven to tear your arm apart isn't there. So why are these pitchers not making it? Why are
Yeah.
they not making it? I went to a Charleston Dirty Birds game in Charleston, West Virginia last year. And this guy was like 37, 38 years old. He had played in the minors for, 8 years or 9 years. He had been in the independent circuit for like 6 years. This is like his fifth year with the Charleston Dirty Birds. He was their best pitcher. He was by far, he's the oldest guy on the team by like 7 years.
Mhm.
And he walked out on that mound and he could pitch. And he was lights out. The dude had like a 2.4 ERA for the season. And he's out there just mowing batters down, 15 ground balls, couple pop-ups, 5 strikeouts. And he pitched 7 innings. And it was like, how is that not making it somewhere?
I know.
Why?
That's
What is
crazy.
he even doing here? And when he walks out on the mound, the whole place knows him, and they all love him because he's the old spitballer
He's
or
the
whatever
Crash
you want to
Davis
call
of
it. You know what I mean? Yeah, of the independent league. This is like what the Florence Y'all's playing, and it's like, dude, I don't understand how more of those guys don't get a shot. I get that they're going to give up some bombs because if you miss, and it's
Mhm.
batting practice. But if they're good, man, like, don't get it. Anyway,
Yeah. Yep.
David Bell, what's your thoughts on it?
It's it feels like kind of like what I was saying is he gonna, as a matter of fact, the next day, I think in the paper, one of the beat writers wrote a story on this is like a pretty scathing thing. I didn't read the whole thing, but like it seemed like a pretty scathing article about this is another scapegoat. The administration for the Reds is the problem here. It's Nick Kroll is the problem, and Castellini's and all that.
Is it though? I mean, there's always too many pitchers that are injured. It's every year. We've got a good amount of pitchers and they're injured. They're all injured,
That's the
injured,
thing.
injured, injured, injured.
Yes, injuries and just performance, just underperforming. I mean, you know. course in baseball, most guys are gonna hit like 250 or whatever or 240, uh, and that's just kind of the way it is. And but you don't, but you can't you have to have a team with enough guys that are hitting, forget batting average, but whatever leads to the most success in whatever metric it is now, that leads to the most success offensively, then you have to have three or four or five guys that can do that thing, that can get on base or whatever. And same with pitching. I mean, you can't have guys that go out and walk four guys every time he pitches
Yep.
give
That's
up.
walks are gonna kill walks will haunt.
Oh,
Right?
I
Go
walk
back
go
to the
on.
old riverfront thing.
It's
Walks
one of
will
the
haunt.
best graphics ever.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, really, players underperforming are not I don't want to say not criticized enough, but just not, like, in most cases, I will bet that is more the problem, and injuries, every time a manager gets fired. I
Hmm.
mean, sometimes, like, when you and there's been some things circulating about that, about the locker room. He's not, maybe they're not all the way engaged or something like
Sure,
that.
100%. I get, yeah, that is
And
what
if
it
that's
is.
the case, then sure, then move on to another guy.
But how many old dudes are gonna have the locker room engaged anyway?
That's the thing. I think it was Zach Cozart put something about it, and he said, "Okay, so David Bell is a players manager or whatever,
Hmm.
and he kind of he kind of lets the players run the locker room, and
Hmm.
uh, you know, uh,
Dusty Baker esque.
well, it's funny because that's what we always heard about Dusty, and then he goes on to say, so if that's the problem, if it's too loose or whatever, the way David Bell's been, then you have to get a guy who's a little more no nonsense, is going to hold everybody accountable more. He's going to have tough
Hmm.
conversations with guys." And he said, so as a matter of fact,
They
because
probably called some other previous manager on that.
yeah, but he was, and the big thing is
Neither works.
the fun part of it is who's the next guy. So
Hmm.
speculating about all that. And he said, so he thinks either Skip Schumacher or Brad Osmus
Okay,
would be,
younger guys
yeah,
who are all stronger and look better than every player on the team.
right,
Those are
right.
two of the best looking managers out there, bro.
Yes. And
Such
what's
good
his name
lookers.
from the Giants from a couple years ago?
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm talking about. Um, we'll think of it. Anyway, but he said those guys seem like they are kind of more like they're younger guys, but they're more like kind of more old school in the
Mhm.
way that they manage.
So you could be an old school manager, but be a younger dude and still comprehend, right? I think
Oh
that's
yeah,
perfect. Yeah, find the
absolutely.
happy medium.
Right. So yeah, and I mean people have talked about David Ross
Once
and
again, it doesn't matter if, like, this is a text I got from a buddy of mine.
mhm.
This is the guy who does my pitching. He's my pitching, quote unquote, pitching coach for our team. We went to the Reds arm care deal that they had, right? There was
Mhm.
probably 10 people in that thing. But we signed up, we go down there to go to listen to the trainers talk about arm care. That was the whole point of the whole thing.
Oh, that's cool.
We talked about this a little bit. It was a lot about steroids, but a little bit arm care.
Okay.
And it was all basically, we've got all the best stuff and you guys don't have this. So just do your best, is basically what they kind of told us. So he said, turn the Reds on, started thinking about the pitching. We probably shouldn't go to them for arm care suggestions.
Yeah.
More starting pitchers on the IL than are healthy. Not a good look. It's
Hmm.
the truth. It's like, it'll take everything they said with a grain of salt, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's tough, man. I don't know what
But
to.
if nobody's healthy, it doesn't matter who your coach is. It doesn't matter. And we have the best pitching coach in the game. I'm gonna tell you that
Yeah.
right now.
Yep. It's a little bit exciting, kind of the build up to who's going to be the next guy. That is kind of exciting. I hate that anybody lost a job. I have no idea if David Bell should have lost his job or not, to be honest with you. But it's a little exciting. I mean, he is like, do you remember Ben Stein? He was the teacher in uh
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Ferris Bueller.
Ferris Bueller's
Mhm.
Day Off. Yes, he's very like
Win Ben Stein's
monotone
money.
guy, win Ben Stein's money. But he was real. He just always talked like this, and
He was actually a legit smart dude.
yeah, yeah. Um,
But
but
yes.
but that's how David Bell's.
Yeah, oh,
Like,
100%. Yeah, yeah.
um, which doesn't really mean anything, but at least it'll be
Bueller.
something different from that. Will be fun for the fans to listen to. Speaking of, so Zach Cozart at the end of his thing when he was talking about, look, David Bell is, like kind of easy on the players. He kind of lets them do their own thing or whatever. He said that didn't work, so bring another guy in. He suggested those two, and he said Dusty Baker called me into his office at least once a week to tell me to start picking it up, like to tell me like, hey, you need to do better.
So
And he
he's
said
he
that.
was always known as a player's manager
Mm-hmm.
because he got along with all the boys, right?
Yep,
But that doesn't mean that you can't get in their ass when they're not when they need to get there when they need to get better.
that's right. That's right. And I don't know what kind of conversations David Bell had with any of those guys. Maybe he had them all the time. Maybe he never did. Um, but yeah, I don't know, man. It's just if you have a locker room problem because of the manager, then that's one thing. If everybody's cool, but players are just too many players are injured and the guys that are playing just are not performing well enough to win games, I don't know what you do about that. I don't. That's not really the manager. I mean,
Again, I like for the last few years, look at the roster he's been given.
mhm.
It's not like he's getting a roster that when you look at it, you're like, that's a playoff team. You don't see that. No, it's cheap, 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 cheap. Try to get some young kids on a low salary
Well,
and see what we can do.
yeah, they brought. I mean, they brought up their top four prospects or whatever over the last year or
Sure.
two, and so that's exciting. I mean, those guys are going to need some time to develop and everything. Ellie, of course, and uh, what's the second baseman who was out all year? And
India,
no,
Matt McLean.
yeah, Matt McLean. Thank you.
Jonathan India, probably the highlight of this team this year.
Yeah.
What happens to him when McLean comes back? Like he was probably the best player on this team
Yeah.
offensively, for 2/3 of the season.
Hmm.
Right, beginning of the season maybe not, but 2/3 of the season he was probably the best player we had.
Yeah.
When Matt McLean comes back, he's now all of a sudden he's going to be a third baseman, first baseman, corner outfielder.
We had that conversation going it last year.
Right. So but he was really good this year. Last year was his sophomore slump and he had a bad year.
Yeah.
This year he had a really good year. But why that dude's our second everyday second baseman. Now he was not good defensively last year. I can't tell you what his numbers look like this year. Um, that dude's got to find a spot on the team somewhere.
Well, I mean,
Or is he trade dead? Or is he trade bait?
could be also. I mean, with Noel V. Marte missing so many games this year, and then coming back and not having a good year, maybe he's out as the third baseman. Either India goes there, who he was drafted as the third baseman, or probably not. But maybe you move Ellie back to third, who he started out there when he came up, and then
His
McLean to second or
range
to short.
is insane. That dude has to play center or short. That's the only two places he can play. You are taking away from his best attribute, which is his speed. Why would I they
He's
keep
not.
talking about moving him to third.
Yeah.
I get the fielding, right? He makes some plays that no one else should ever make at shortstop.
No question. Yeah.
He also makes some bad plays at shortstop. But he's either got to play shortstop or center field because those are the two positions where you have to have the most range. He's got to play, and he has the most range. He has caught fly balls in that left field foul territory
Mm-hmm.
down the line out in left field that I didn't think anybody could make. I didn't think a shortstop could get to that ball.
Yeah.
And good God, he is lightning. He's so much fun.
Yeah.
I hope that we keep it. I hope that he sticks around and really continues to develop what he is. He'll never be 50-50, but that dude's got a chance to be 40-40
Yeah.
for sure.
No question.
For sure.
Yeah. Yeah. So who knows what the personnel is going to be like next year? But I know the coaching personnel is going to be different.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like I said, it's exciting.
No more Freddie Benavidez.
Right. Somebody said
Maybe not.
maybe, yeah. Who knows? I feel like his name comes up all the time.
I feel like
As
you
opposed
have to have like the pitching coach has got to step. Was it Derek what's his name?
Johnson.
Derek Johnson? Is that his name?
No.
Is it Derek?
Yeah. Yeah.
He has to stay. Like this dude is like world renowned as one of the greatest pitching minds out there from Vanderbilt and all
Yeah.
that stuff that he did. Like you got to keep that dude, right? Like he can't go. That's got to be in part of the
Hope so.
contract. Like, dude, you stay. Right? I don't care. Like you help us. In fact, you help us find a manager that you'll get along with. I don't even care if you get along with the manager. You don't got to sit anywhere near him. I don't even
Mhm.
care. But that is
Maybe he's the manager.
no,
We don't want another
no,
Brian Price.
no. We do not want another Brian Price.
He was a
No.
great pitching coach, and then they gave him
Yes.
an opportunity, and it didn't.
Yep.
I mean, who knows? He may have been okay, but
Once again, though, you don't. It's not. If I'm a great pitching coach, I don't know that I want to be a manager.
I know it takes away from what you're best at. I mean,
This is what I do, right?
yeah,
Like, let me do what I do. And if I'm this good, I've got a job until I'm 80.
yeah,
If I become a manager, I'm out of baseball when I get fired.
yeah.
You know what I mean? There's a really good chance I'm out of baseball when I get fired.
Could
Look
be.
at Greg Maddox's brother.
Mm-hmm.
He's still a pitching coach.
Mm-hmm.
Still, if that dude ever took a job, he would have been fired and never came back to baseball. But no, he's known as a good pitching coach. He's constantly moving around to different teams because he's good.
Yeah, Leo Mazzoni was never. I don't think was ever a manager, was he?
I don't think so.
Yeah,
He was a bench coach though.
he was a pitching coach.
Was Mazzoni? I thought Mazzoni was the bench coach, and
Oh,
Cox. I thought Cox was the manager. Mazzoni was the bench coach. I didn't think he was a pitching
no, I thought he was a
coach.
pitching coach.
Was he?
Yeah,
I thought he
pretty
just rocked
pretty
back
sure.
and forth
Yeah.
next to. I thought that was his whole job was just to rock next to Bobby Cox.
They should have put a porch swing in there in the dugout for those guys. uh, yeah. Anyway, so it's gonna be fun. We're gonna see. I'm sorry for David Bell, and long Cincinnati bloodline in baseball and everything, and um, but we're gonna have somebody else. There was one name that I saw
Damn
that
pitching coach.
I don't, I don't think, um, I don't think is gonna happen, but one name that I really got excited about when I saw it.
Don't say Barry Larkin. I don't
No, no,
Barry
no,
Larkin.
no.
Get stop talking about Barry
I
Larkin.
know. Yeah.
I don't want that
A
for
couple
Barry
people
Larkin.
asked me that right
I
the
don't
next
want
day.
that for Barry Larkin.
Same.
That would be no.
Like 5, 6, 8 years ago or something.
Mhm.
His name every time his name comes up, every time they go to a
It
new
was
manager, and it was like, oh, that's exciting. Oh, I hope it's Barry. And now it's like, nah, let's keep him where he's at.
let him do what he do. Let him
Yeah,
do what he does, which is one of the greatest Reds to ever live.
that's
Why
the thing.
put him in
His
that?
legacy in
Don't do that.
Cincinnati is so good.
What they did to Tony Perez
Yeah.
when he became that was the worst thing to ever happen. Do not put a blemish on that man's career.
Yes, I agree with you. Um, but the name that I saw that I don't think is going to happen, but I got excited about it was Terry Francona.
Oh, sure, that'd be yeah. That everybody.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
If he became the manager here, I think that'd be great. I don't know, but the man is retired. He probably loves being retired.
And he love it's the same thing, right? That dude's a baseball lifer. His dad was a baseball player. I mean, his life was that. Would he come back? Probably for the right amount of money. Do the Reds have the right amount of money? No, they don't.
Right.
Do you want to come to Cincinnati? I mean, he just spent his last few years in Cleveland.
That's a little upgrade. I
It's an
think
upgrade from
Cincinnati's a little
Cleveland.
upgrade.
It's 100% an upgrade from Cleveland, but
I'm not the team though. He had great teams in
yeah, he
Cleveland
did.
actually. So
He's
yeah,
yeah. You would love for the team to go out and get somebody with a track record, like they did with Lou Piniella, like they did with Dusty Baker, right? And those things all worked out, right? Dusty had some good teams.
Bobby Cox is still alive.
That's all right.
Well, Showalter every couple years gets another opportunity
And
his
does
late
great
90s.
with it. He
Yeah.
takes terrible teams and makes them good. This daggone Orioles team's gonna be in playoffs.
What's Bob Brenly up to?
Yeah, yeah. Bob Brenly, holy cow.
Uh,
So Bob Brenly and Bruce Bochy, Bochy's a little wider face. They could be brothers.
yeah, I can see it.
They could be, and maybe it's just the mustache.
Sure. Yeah.
But it
Yeah.
could just be the mustache.
Yeah. Tom Selleck could be their brother.
Could be right there with him. Yep.
Yeah.
Good thick mustache. That's the one thing. Like if I could get a good thick mustache, I might do just the mustache.
Just the mustache. Would try it.
It's just not that thick, man. It's not that good bushy.
Good.
I don't know. I feel like I don't have enough lip. Like the space between their upper lip and their nose is so much bigger and it makes it look, it's like an inch. And I
Yeah,
got like a quarter inch going right
it
now.
is.
You
I
know
got
what
the
I
same
mean?
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Hey, you even trimmed the top of yours up a little
I
bit
do.
today. I like
Yeah,
that. Yeah.
I do. Um, yeah. Anyway, we any one of those guys, I'm good. If
Absolutely.
they come
But
to the Reds.
we'll see. It'll be interesting, and we'll end up hiring Norm Charlton or something silly like that, and
Yeah.
it is what it is.
Hey, maybe that'd be a good move. Who
Why not?
knows?
Why not? I'd love to see Ted Power get a chance.
There you go. TP.
Is Joe Oliver still alive?
I think so.
Let's go. Catchers are always good managers.
I will take anyone from the 90 team.
100%. Herm
Uh,
Winningham, bring it on.
Absolutely.
Not Jose Rijo. I'm pretty sure he's still doing a jail stint or something
Oh,
for what did he do? I can't remember what he
I
did.
forget. Who knows?
I don't know. Mariano Duncan. There you
Yeah.
go. Oh, Sabo. He got fired last year.
No.
How about Sabo?
Dude, Sabo would take it in a heartbeat.
What? Sabo should be the manager of the Reds.
You think so?
You want to sell season tickets right now?
But that's the exact same thing as Barry Larkin being the Reds manager.
Or David Bell's. Yeah, same. Who cares? If you want to sell season tickets right, you're right. Better than David Bell. If you want to sell season tickets right now and try to get some buzz, Sabo has been a manager in baseball for the last 25 years.
Yeah, just not Major League Baseball.
No, but he's managed professional baseball.
Mm-hmm.
Bring him on.
Sure.
Bring him on. Ted
think-
Power becomes his pitching coach. No, Derek Johnson stays pitching coach.
Yeah, yeah.
He's gonna bring on who's he gonna bring on? He's gonna bring
It's time
on
for Billy Hatcher to get his
oh
chance at manager.
Hatch. Hatch gotta go back to first. He's the best first base coach
Yeah,
we've ever had.
I agree.
Hatch will be at first.
Yeah.
Our bench coach is gonna be Mariano Duncan.
I'll take it.
No, Glenn Braggs. Not Glenn Braggs. Glenn Braggs will be the strength and conditioning coach. Strength and conditioning coach. Yeah, yes. Billy Doran will be the infield coach.
Okay. Yep.
Who else we got? Ron Oster can come back.
Sure. He can be the bench coach.
Oster can come back, be the bench coach. Sure. Absolutely. Absolutely. I love it. I love it. Who's coach? Who's going to be a third base coach? Oh, third base coach.
That could be Herm.
Yeah, could be Herm. I don't feel like Herm. I feel like Herm's too tall to be a third base coach.
Okay, we need
Be somebody a little shorter.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's Rolando Rooms up to?
Oh, boy, let's go. Nope. Nope. Third base is all about base running. It's all about knowing the speed of your runners, the arms in the outfield. Billy Bates is the third base coach.
Billy Bates.
If you can beat a cheetah in a race, you're the third base coach.
Here's the thing. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to switch Hatch and Billy Bates. Bates is at first, Hatch is at third. That's what I'm doing.
I like that because Bates is going to help him. You know, the problem with Billy Bates being on the bases is it's the same problem that like Michael Jordan has being the coach in the NBA. No one is you. No one's going to be you. So you're telling him to go because you know you would have made it, and you're getting guys thrown out constantly because they're not you.
If Billy Bates is the first base coach, Ellie De La Cruz steals 200 bases next.
100%. Yeah.
200.
200.
Don't overthink it.
Yeah.
200.
Yeah. Absolutely. He's got to get 200 hits, but yeah.
Well, or walks.
Yeah.
You know, he can
Walks
walk.
are in there too. Absolutely.
He's just got to
Absolutely.
not strike out 200 times.
Yes.
That's the thing.
Yes.
Oh boy. All right, that's a fun little exercise there.
I like that. That was good.
We just did fantasy coaching staff.
Fantasy, Chris Sabo's fantasy coaching staff. Well done.
Oh man. Okay. Well, do we want to take a quick look at the playoff picture in MLB? Do we want to go to Joe Gatto, our comedy special? What do you think?
Before we did
no.
Joe Gatto, I would probably go to the Mount Rushmore, but that's just the way we usually do things. Why not mix it up a little bit? Real quick, we can just run through this real quick. The wild card right now in the National League is San Diego, and they have it locked up.
Okay.
The next two spots, the Mets are 87 and 70. Arizona, who was in the big surprise team from last year, 87 and 71, and a half game back
Of the first wild card spot?
of the last wild card
Last
spot
wild card.
is the Atlanta Braves at 86 and 71. This is going to be
Yeah,
interesting, my friend. This is going to be interesting. Who is going to play the Mets? Well, could be. I mean, technically, I mean, it's the Atlanta is one game behind the Mets for the second spot,
they're playing against each other right
and
now.
they're playing each other. So this is really interesting. So that's going to be fun to watch. Um, LA has locked it up. They are officially in. The Dodgers are in. Philly has locked it up. They're officially in. Milwaukee has locked it up. They are officially in.
I saw the Phillies had the first round bye and home field advantage in the NLDS. Is the are the Dodgers, or there are two buys in the first
Have
round.
the Dodgers the Dodgers locked up a playoff spot? I don't know that they've locked up the West yet, have they?
I don't think because they're
No,
playing each other
yeah,
too.
they're
Padres.
93 and 64 and San Diego's 91 and 66. So how many games is that? That's 157 games for San Diego and 157 games. So they still have a few games left to play. Plenty to make up that 3 game span that they have there.
Yep.
So that's interesting. So that's not they both have locked up a playoff spot, just not necessarily the division because San Diego is only 2 games back. Everyone else has officially locked it up. Philly has locked it, and Milwaukee has locked it. So, what do you got in the American League? In the American League, same thing. Technically, Baltimore is not out yet against the Yankees. They're 4 back, technically. Feels like the Yankees are going to lock that up. Their magic number's got to be 2, right? Right now,
Yeah, I think
they're
so.
at they've played 158 games, and so has Baltimore. So their magic number's got to be 2 or 3. Um, and then Cleveland has officially won the Central, and Houston has officially won the West. They've got them as officially winning the West, even though Seattle's only 4 games back. But they have them locked as
Mhm.
clinched division.
Well,
Either
do they have 4 games left to play?
86 and 73. Also, they've got the most. They played 159. So no, they got 3 games left. So
Okay.
yes, they have locked that up. The wild card in the American League looks like this. You've got Baltimore at the top, which they're still fighting for their division, which should be locked up pretty soon. Detroit and Kansas City with the exact same record, and Minnesota 2 games back, Seattle 2.5 games back. So that's very interesting as well. There's a lot to go there. A lot of big players still left in this thing. I think that's about as far as we go with this, and then we
Mhm.
start talking about next week. We'll have actual matchups and be able to figure out where we're going with baseball.
I'm gonna get to start seeing some great baseball games.
I tell you what, I have not watched baseball in 2 weeks.
That's
I'm going to be very very excited to like legit sit down every single night and watch playoff baseball
yeah.
because there is no better, I don't care what it is. There's no better atmosphere than playoff baseball to me
Yep.
because baseball is played 162 games. A lot of times even the best teams play in front of nobody. And the second the playoffs start, it
Packed.
is jam packed and wild.
Yeah.
And I love that.
Yeah.
Love that. NBA, they play indoors, the music's blaring. So it's kind of loud all the time, whether there's a lot of people there or not. Something different about being in a quiet, open air stadium with 4,000 people there. And then you get 40,000 people, not that much. What does the Reds hold? 30, 36? Or is it
uh
54?
no, I thought it was like 42 or something like that.
There you go. Split the difference. I like that. Well done. Well done. Split the difference. 42. And yeah, that sounds right. Sure.
Something like that.
Either way, somewhere in that 36 to 52. And and when you jump that big, dude, it is feels like you're indoors. I love that.
Yeah.
I love it. So
Great.
we'll get into that next week. The week after that, I will be out of town.
Yes, you will.
So we will miss 2 weeks from now.
By the way, celebrating your anniversary, which is also tomorrow on your
Yes.
birthday,
Same day.
congratulations and happy anniversary to you
Much appreciated. Thank you, sir.
and the lovely Aaron.
Much appreciated. Thank you very, very much. She will enjoy probably just part of one of those cookies. So we'll call one of those cookies you got for anniversary as well.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah, absolutely. Perfect. All right. Moving to football, but we're not going to talk about the current NFL.
No, sir, we are
We're going to
not.
talk about the glory days,
Yes.
and we're going to talk about the Nintendo Tecmo Super Bowl or Super Tecmo Bowl or just Tecmo Bowl, depending on which game you're talking about.
Yes.
And the running backs, the best running backs from that game on Nintendo Entertainment System.
There were so many. After I went back, it was like,
I know.
yeah, I remember some of these. There were a lot of really good running backs in this. A lot. Um, so Adam, I don't know how you want to do this, but
Your topic, I think you go first.
okay, let's just run through a few. All right, let's run through. I got this thing here. Um, this is so crazy. There's so many running backs. Let me just peel some out here. Otis Anderson for the Giants. Neil Anderson. You got Marion Butts. I always say Mariano. Marcus Allen. You had let's see who else was really good. James Brooks and Ickey Woods were both good. Herschel Walker was in the game. I don't remember him being really good. Let's see. Emmett Smith was in the game. For David Meggett. Remember David Meggett
Oh, yeah.
for the Giants? Because everybody played with the Giants because you got Lawrence Taylor. So you
Absolutely.
had David Meggett, and then everybody played with the Chiefs and had Derek Thomas, and they had Christian Okoye who would just run through people. Bo Jackson, obviously, Barry Sanders. All right, let's see if I can go back through here. Who did I miss? I missed more people in here. I said Marcus Allen. I missed somebody here. Oh, Roger Craig and Tom Rathman, both.
Yeah.
Tom Rathman on the one couldn't stop him. He was getting 3 yards. Like 5 people could touch him, and the first 4 people bounced off of him. Then he got down. Not fast at all, though.
No.
Roger Craig, Thurman Thomas. How we forget about Thurman Thomas, dude? Thurman Thomas was a dog in that game.
Yep.
I feel like that's pretty much. I feel like that's pretty much the biggest ones when it comes to them. I mean, you had Stanford Jennings in the original Tecmo Bowl, but I feel like that's pretty much it. So,
Stanford Jennings.
did
man.
you have anybody on like a list different from who I said?
Everybody you said I had on the list.
Okay.
I wrote 10 of those names down.
Okay. Of those names, Christian Okoye was on my list. He's top. Bo Jackson was the best running back in the game. There was no better running back than Bo Jackson. Christian Okoye was second. Now, it's tough from here. Okay, it's tough. I might have to go back to my list here real quick. So, oh, sorry. Barry Sanders was fast as lightning in this game. Barry Sanders is going to be on mine as well. But like David Meggett and who else was really, really good? Marcus Allen was really, really good in this. And you had him and Bo Jackson on the same team, which was always crazy.
Yeah.
Marion Butts was really, really good. Oh my God. David Meggett, Roger Craig, Thurman Thomas. Okay, it's going to be between Thurman Thomas and Roger Craig for my last one.
Roger Craig.
Roger Craig.
49ers.
I'm doing Roger Craig.
Okay.
I hate Roger Craig because he was on the team that beat us, but I'm going Roger Craig.
Yeah.
Roger Craig, Barry Sanders, Christian Okoye. Thurman Thomas. How is Thurman Thomas not on that list? I might take Barry Sanders off.
Wow.
And leave Roger Craig on. That was a young Barry Sanders. I think I'm going to take Barry Sanders off, leave Roger Craig on, and put on Thurman Thomas. Thurman Thomas was awesome in that game.
Yeah, he was. The Bills were great.
Yep.
At that time. All right. Very good. So then we have
We've got two of the same.
we've got two of the
If
same.
you don't have Christian Okoye and Bo Jackson on your list, then you've never played Super Tecmo Bowl. I always want to say Tecmo Super Bowl. You don't have Christian Okoye, do you?
I don't.
You don't have
I,
Christian Okoye? He was he was as fast. He was the second or third fastest player on the team, and people you couldn't touch him.
he deserves to be on the list. So for me, number one is Bo Jackson. There's nobody.
There's nobody. Yes, you don't
Um,
have Christian Okoye.
I put Barry Sanders because he's my favorite running back ever. He might be the best running back ever. But in the game,
That's
he
the only
was
reason I
really
took him
really
off
good
because I
though.
love Barry Sanders. He was really good, but I took him off of the game.
Bo Jackson and Barry Sanders are automatics for me.
Okay.
So then the other two are there's another one that's almost an automatic just because every time I played by myself, I was the Giants every single time.
So David Meggett.
David Maggett's on there
Okay.
just
I get it
because
because you were Lawrence Taylor.
I scored the most touchdowns in
Yeah,
my life with David Meggett.
totally get it. And a lot of people would put on the defensive side would put Howie Long because they played to have
Bo
Bo
Jackson.
Jackson on their team, so you had to find the best defensive guy,
That's right.
and it was Howie Long.
That's right. So, and then I think you can go either way between Christian Okoye and Thurman Thomas. I picked Thurman Thomas. I just went Thurman Thomas. I think because I played more with the Bills than I ever did with the Chiefs. So that's just the way I went. It was more familiarity picks.
Sure, I get that. I get that.
But yeah,
I'm
but
trying to see who the Oilers had. There's a few guys on here I don't even know.
Earl Campbell maybe.
Doug Lloyd, um, Alan Pinkett. I remember that name, Alan Pinkett.
Oh, Pinkett.
Let's see, George Adams. No, that's Tampa Bay.
That Jada Pinkett's dad.
Yeah, I think so. John Steven. Nope, that's again same helmet looking. Lorenzo White. Lorenzo
Lorenzo White.
White. Because I would be Houston and be Ray Childress, that like nose tackle person,
Mm.
and slip through and get a sack every time.
Wow. I gotta find that game. I've looked a few times over the
Yeah,
years on the internet, and like Tecmo Super Bowl Nintendo
I
game is like
between
$150.
I guarantee I've got it. I think Dad still has my Nintendo and all the games downstairs. I bet I still got it if you want it. Feel free. Or
We
Melinda
at
took it
least
with her. Or Melinda took it with her to her house, and I'm sure that she doesn't play it because they got all the other stuff. I find it for you. Want to play some Tecmo Super Bowl? We get that thing going. You just got to get it started.
I know.
Once you get it on, do not turn that thing off.
No.
Leave it on forever.
No.
Is this
And
25
stay
minutes?
away from the console too. If you just
Yeah,
barely bump it or
don't
something.
you touch. Oh, if you get upset and you like move your controller too much and you pull on it and then the game freezes,
Yeah.
we're fighing.
Yeah.
Especially if I was winning.
Right.
Are you? It's like in the back where you see me and Walter Payton spiking the ball, slowly spiking the ball as the stands come up in the background
Yeah.
and the ball goes down and it freezes. Oh, I'm gonna be pissed. Marcus Allen, I'd be pissed.
Well, you ended on a good note. You just scored.
Yes, yeah, because you got mad and froze it because you moved too much with your controller.
Sorry.
You ever notice that the whistle in Super Tecmo Bowl is like identical to the whistle in Blades of
RBI.
Steel?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. They use the same audio file for all the sports games. Oh, all right. That was fun. So now we move to comedy and
Uncle Joe.
Uncle Joe Gatto, uh, famously of the Impractical Jokers, no longer of the Impractical Jokers, but formerly.
Are the Impractical Jokers done? Is that no
No,
longer a thing?
no, they're
But
still going.
just Uncle Joe's just not
Just the
doing it.
three, yep. Just the three guys left. Yep.
What made him stop? Did he say?
He was going through a divorce at the time,
Mm.
and he needed to kind of focus on that.
Well, he's married now. He had a big old wedding ring on.
He got back with his wife.
Oh, good for
Ended up getting
him.
back with her. Yep.
Good for him.
That's right.
Good
Yep.
for him.
Yep, they've got some kids together, and he whatever was going on, they figured it out,
Good for him.
which is nice.
He's
Yeah,
46 years old, 47 years old.
yeah,
I'm going to tell you right now, dude, I would have never guessed that. I want to know what I look like. I want to know how I want to walk. I want legit, I want 50-year-olds to look at me and go and say how old they think I am.
hmm
That
yeah.
dude, I never would have guessed that.
What do you usually get when people when you tell people? Do they say, "Oh, okay," or they're like,
It
"Oh,
depends on
okay"?
how long my beard is at the time
Oh, yeah, yeah,
because I
yeah.
get so much gray in the center of my beard now. If I've got a decently long beard, then I usually get 40 something.
Mm,
But like if it's trimmed up a little shorter than what it is now, I'll get in the 30s. I
yeah,
can I can still pull some 30s. You get 30s all the time.
I get 30s.
Yeah.
Yep.
You're a good looking son of a gun, dude.
I politely disagree, but thank you.
Yeah, it's okay. You're welcome.
No, I don't know how to take a compliment, but Joe Gatto, um, yes, you're right, and he touches on that a little bit too. He's like, I'm 47, going on 48 or whatever, 46 going on 47, whatever it is, and he's like, I know I look
Yeah,
like,
I know what I look like. Yeah,
yeah,
he's like, I know what I look like. I see it. He likes cannolis and
yeah,
big into all that stuff. Yeah.
likes to eat.
So I'm very interested to hear how you thought his comedy was.
First of all, this is his debut special.
Okay. Did you give him bonus points because it was his debut special?
Uh, n- um, no, not really. I thought
So
about
you
it.
held him accountable as you would any other comedian in the way he tells the jokes and his speed and his timing and pace. You kept him you held him to the same standards as you hold everybody else. I want to know before we judge
I
this.
see where this is going. And maybe I did give him a little break because I think he's been doing stand-up comedy for like 2 years,
That's okay.
which
Yeah.
is nobody ever gets a special on.
No, he's
Well, I
very
mean, anybody
famous
can
and he
do
made
one
it
on
very clear how famous
YouTube.
he was. Although he did a really good job when he talked about how famous he was being self-deprecating in that. I enjoy that.
Yeah,
Talk about how famous. Don't tell me how famous you are. I know how famous you are. We all know. But when you do it and you're still kind of making fun of yourself, then I'm cool with it, right? The Steve
yes,
Carell thing was all really funny. I enjoyed that.
yeah. And I never even thought about that. And
Neither did
then when
I
he
until he
said it, I
said
was
it.
like, oh,
He looks
all
like
right.
Gru. I get it. He looks like Gru. It makes sense because he looks like Gru. He does. He doesn't necessarily look like Steve Carell, but he looks like Gru.
He's got. We should have him on the podcast sometimes because he's got a decent sized nose and yeah,
The way
he's
he was talking, but I don't know. I get it. He got the Sicilian factor in him, but I'm telling you, I'm not Sicilian and I'm not Jewish, but I could put you all to shame right over here. Like if I get, I'm telling you right now, this look right here that you're getting, that's a pretty good profile. If you're on the YouTube,
uh-huh.
I don't know. Oh, that might be the one right there. That might be the one that shows the most. Like it's just a lot of nose. I've got a lot of nose. It's a lot. Not the fact that I mean it's long. Don't get me wrong, it's long. But like boom, right there, it's a lot of nose.
A
There's got a
lot of surface area,
yes, the
a lot
stuff.
of acreage on that.
Yeah, yeah. Half times base times height. I'm learning how to do surface area triangles right now. And I got it's not quite a 90 degree right triangle, but yeah, I'm a half times base time height.
We got there in an isosceles or
Yeah.
what?
I don't know.
uh,
Yeah, I think my right side profile is bigger than my left. I think that's the side. One of the sides, like you'll see, I can take 100 pictures, and then all of a sudden you'll get one. You go, holy cow, that's the biggest nose I've ever seen. If you catch the right angle of my nose, oh my god,
I
it's insane.
yeah, I catch myself in that too, like in the mirror or on a picture or something. I'm like, oh my God, that in that picture specifically or in that mirror, like in that angle,
Yeah,
I'm like, is my nose that big? Oh my God. It's most of my face. Um,
I've had multiple nose um competitions, nose length competitions. I went to
undefeated.
as far as I can tell you, yeah. Went to La Rosa's. This dude had a schnoz on him. And you know me, I'm like, mine's bigger than yours. And I'm in high school and everybody's joking. And this dude's an older dude. He's like a manager at La Rosa's. So I'm sure he hated it, but he got real into it. No way. I've got the biggest nose you've ever seen. He's what he keeps telling me. I'm like, bro, I got you. They took a straw, right? Put it up against the base of the nose, went to the point, came up to mine, went to the base, and I held onto the straw and I pushed it a little into my face a little bit. I beat him. And I was like, I got the biggest nose in the, I'm the biggest
Like,
nose.
what's that circle on your face, Chris?
It don't matter. The biggest nose out there. I got pride in that thing, dude. Pride in that thing. I'll never forget. I broke my nose at Funky Dunks in the batting cages. I've told the story on the podcast before. Those yellow rubber, hard rubber balls you hit in the batting cage. Found it straight down, bounced down, popped up, hit me in the nose. Gushing, nose broke is bad, 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 bad.
Let me ask you this: what was it in your swing that break down the swing on that?
That's a good question. So, I mean, it's batting practice. So the pitch, I don't know what speed I was in. I was probably in way too fast for what I should be in, because back in when I was 12, 13 years old, I just wanted to go as fast as I could. So that's probably a big part of it. But my head stayed down, right? Head stays down on the ball. I don't think there was really anything too wrong with the swing. I mean, it was my swing. It was probably perfect. That's not
That's
true.
what I wanted.
That's not true.
Just too fast. Just
But
in the
but honestly, I think I just missed it, and for my head to have stayed down on it and for it to come up, pop me directly in the nose, and actually broke it the opposite way of where the ball was coming. So my head was down on the ball. Like
Mhm.
I had to keep my head pretty close down on the ball. Shattered it, not shattered it, broke it pretty bad. My glove, I had white batting gloves. They were brown by the time we left there. It was disgusting. Cousin Joey was spending the night that night. It was a crazy night. Anyway, uh, doctors like, listen, with an injury like this, you can get, my mom said this. The doctor says that I could get rhinoplasty, like a nose job. You can get the hump fixed. You can get all that fixed because of how it was broke and what happened in the situation, and insurance would take care of it. And I was like, no, why in God's name would I get fixed the thing that is like what I'm known for? No,
It's my
this is
identity.
my nose, bro. I got this thing. I live by my nose. I don't want to make it smaller. Then what would I be?
You'd be Michael Jackson. What if you got that little tiny? What if you got a little
I don't
tiny
even know what
Michael
this would look
Jackson?
like.
You'd be
Like,
a totally different person.
so it's really funny. So there are times where, depending on how the angle of my face, because you get that little thing at the tip of your nose where it just feels like it goes down too far, and I'll look down and be like, "There's no, I'm missing my mustache. It's like goes from my nose, depending on where I'm looking, it goes from my nose to my teeth, nose teeth. There's no lip or mustache in between, depending on the angle that you catch. Yeah.
Ah, that's great. Okay, so um, by your questioning, I'm assuming that you were maybe hoping for a little better from Joe Gatto, maybe a little cleaner.
I'm not saying that I hoped for better.
Okay.
I feel like this was exactly what I thought it was going to be
Okay.
from a guy who's been doing comedy for what I thought was like 4 years, but
Maybe it is.
4 or 5 years. I have no idea how long it's been. I'm just in my head thinking it's exactly what I thought it would be.
Okay. Which is
What's yours?
um I, I thought, there were like jokes here and there that I was like, that could have been better.
Yeah.
I thought that was gonna be a little better.
Yep.
But there was enough in there that made me
Got pretty
laugh.
drawn out. Got pretty drawn out on something.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
There
then I don't care if it's a long joke and you got a little bit of funny stuff as long as it kills at the end.
Mhm. You need a big payoff.
I do.
Um but I liked so much of it too. I mean, I thought some of it was really funny. Now I usually gravitate more toward the guys who just kind of stand there and say really funny words into the microphone.
Sure.
He's always been a really high energy guy. So he's moving around, he's doing motions and he's talking fast, and
Yep.
that's who he is. Um so I always feel like, and it's not always the case, but I feel like how much of that is to try to sell the joke because the words aren't quite good enough? You know what I mean? Um, Maybe in some cases it happened here, and in some cases I think it just went along with a funny joke.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I really did overall really liked it. And I probably gave him points because I like him so because he's so funny on the show that I watched for a long time, and you know he hasn't been doing it very long, you know.
Sure.
Uh, so but he's famous, so that's why he has a popular
Absolutely.
special or whatever. So
Yes. Which is okay. It's good.
yeah,
Do you
yeah,
get the opportunity? Take it.
that's right. So I gave him. This is gonna be we're gonna be pretty different on this, I think.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe, maybe not.
I gave him a 3.7.
Ooh, 3.7.
You gave him a 2.7.
That's close to that's pretty close to four.
That's close to 4.
It's close to four.
Yep.
So I already said a lot of what I thought.
Mhm.
Um, some of the stuff just was like when he went through his, you know, three ways to make people uncomfortable at the urinal.
Mhm.
Like the first two, like and then it went overboard with the turnaround back. Like it's not funny. Like I wasn't. I laughed at a lot of stuff. I did. I never laughed out loud. I never one time out loud caught myself in a laugh.
Oh, okay.
I had a lot of smiles, a lot of stuff like that. Um, it wasn't, you could tell that he was not a polished comedian. That's all it was. Not a bad thing. The dude's been doing it for a few years. Like, that's not a bad thing. He's just not super duper polished.
Hmm.
That special, I feel like, could have been a 3.7. I feel he had the right stories in there. He had the right stuff in there. He just needed to turn up some stuff just a little bit.
Hmm.
Um, and it could have been really good. I gave it a 2.9. I stayed just below a 3.
Okay.
I feel like he was right at, like we always say 3.0 is you should go watch it. Yeah, we definitely say watch it. 4 is if you don't watch it, something's wrong with you.
I'm sorry for you.
Yes.
Yeah.
2.9 is like it was good. If you watch it, you watch it. If you don't, you don't. That's how I felt with it. That's how I
Okay.
felt with it.
Good. All right.
So yeah. So yeah. I feel bad because I know, but I knew that he would get some extra from you because you like him.
Yeah.
I knew that was my thing. As I'm watching it, I'm like, the transitions were not there. He sped through some stuff kind of fast, finished some jokes out, and his timing was way off. Like he could have done a lot of really good things with some of the jokes.
Mhm.
And I don't feel like it was quite up to par. And but I had a feeling because I know how much you like him that he got some points just for being Joe Gatto.
Maybe. But I don't disagree with you. Like the economy of words, it wasn't great. Like he can shore some things up. He can make it more efficient
Sure.
in some
Yes.
ways. And I think that would be
Yes.
pick the exact right words and you don't need as many words.
Could have been 45 minutes instead of an hour, or 50 minutes instead of an hour and 1 minute. Probably could have been 50 to 55 minutes.
Sure. Sure. But yeah, that's I'm sure that's just doing comedy for a few years. I mean, it's
And that's what I'm saying. It's not a bad thing. I'm not trying to be hard on the guy. I feel
yeah.
like I'm being hard on the guy after you give him a 3.7,
Yeah,
but
look, I mean,
but I'm not
some of
trying to
us
be
are
hard on him. I feel like it was really good. If that dude's going to be the best comedian at any open mic.
yeah.
You go to an
He's
open
just a
mic,
funny guy.
sure. He's definitely a funny guy. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. I love a self-deprecating guy. He knows who he is. And yeah, it's good to go.
Yeah.
And he told a story about Cincinnati. So you gotta love that.
That's right.
I didn't think that was that great of a joke.
I'm trying to remember how that went.
And at the end, he waited 4 years and da da da. He farted the whole
Oh yeah,
time.
yeah,
And I'm
yeah.
like,
The massage thing.
that like, oh my
Yeah.
God, you could do so much with that. And that's how you ended it with being in a car and he farted the whole time.
Yeah.
That's how you ended it.
Right. Yeah, I agree with you on that.
Come on, you could
Yeah.
have killed with it. Or don't even go to that. You killed it at the end of that joke. The end of that joke should have been before he talked about going back on tour again. That's when it should have ended there. That if he would have ended it there, that would have been a hilarious joke. But he added on to it. Now the end of it's not so funny. Now that's how I remember the joke.
That's a good example of what we were just talking about.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Polished. And I don't, and I'm saying this like I'm critiquing this dude like I'm some kind of comedy genius. No, I'm just telling you, we've watched quite a bit of comedy in our days, bud. And that's just how I feel.
Yeah, that's fair.
Still think he's extremely funny person and was really good.
Yeah.
You do
Yep.
your first ever comedy segment on here and you get a 2.9 from the nosebleeds. I feel like that's pretty good. I'd take that to start.
Yeah.
Take that to start.
Yep. It definitely seems like because he's now doing stand up, he does a podcast and he's done the Impractical Joker show. And it's clear that he is at his very best, at his funniest on the show. When the title of this thing was messing with people.
Messing with people. When
And
you're
that's what he's
improvising
best
and
at.
doing that, 100%,
Yeah.
that's what he's best at.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So
Maybe he's a
he'll
better improv guy. I bet he would be hilarious on what was that show that Drew Carey used to do?
Whose line is it
Whose
anyway?
line? I bet he'd be
Yeah.
great on that.
Yeah.
Bet he'd be fantastic on that.
Yep, I agree. Yeah. Okay. Well,
So
there it
do
is.
you
Joe Gatto.
have a Mount Rushmore ready to go? Because if not, I can talk out my comedy for a second.
I would like you to talk out your comedy for a
Okay.
second.
So we talk about 800-pound gorilla on the YouTube, right?
Mhm.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
800-pound gorilla.
That's what this was.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So one of the things I've noticed is the 800-pound gorilla, whenever they do one, like they're really big on the entrance into the place
Right.
and then coming in from the back and having your buddy. So remember I told you about the comedian at the Nutter Center who I told you last week who was with Impractical Jokers when they toured when I went to go watch them in Dayton at the Nutter Center. Yeah. And I like followed him on Twitter and he was like legit DMing me on Twitter and stuff, telling me to come. That dude he was walking and he looked at that dude with the hat skinny and he like patted him on his sides and everything. And the other dude patted him and then he turned around and kept walking. Guarantee that was his opener. That was the guy who opened for Impractical Jokers that night. Yeah.
Nice.
And I can't remember his name again, but I saw him and I was like, hey, that's that dude.
Yep.
I think that's funny the way they do that. So randomly, this is all roundabout stuff. Yeah, I just wanted to bring that up. YouTube, I was on the YouTube. I had one I told you that I wanted to do.
Yes.
And I think we will definitely do it. I don't know if I want to go to something different first.
Okay.
So I found something that popped up on YouTube after this came on. Are you thinking about what you want to do for?
I'm trying to.
Okay.
Mhm.
Because I'm talking. You don't have to stare so deeply because I know you need to be thinking about your Mount Rushmore.
Okay.
I'm talking. I don't want you to feel locked into my conversation because you don't have to be. It's not that great.
I'm normally I can't do two things at once. So normally I'm just listening, and then at the end of that, now I got to start thinking about it. But I actually am right now trying to think
good,
about that.
good.
Handless
I don't want to feel like you have to seriously listen to me because really I'm just talking. Is all I'm doing.
You get the stretch sign from the producer.
Yes. So I got a guy on the Netflix that I want to do that I love that he just came on.
Yeah.
But I found one popped up on the YouTube, but it says it's 5 months old.
Oh, that's all right.
But I can't remember the last time we did this, dude. I don't think the backdrop looked exactly the same. So I'm going to, while you sit there, I'm going to ask you about this. Okay. Can you tell me which one, because you would remember the name of the special?
Well, I don't know. That's
if I said it. If I said two names, you would probably remember.
Okay.
I don't know how many this guy might have a couple of them. No, I don't even see it. So what we did, I'm looking at Kyle Kinane. Where and now I don't even know where the one I just watched was. I don't even see it. Oh, this is it. It was called Dirt Nap. Did we do Dirt Nap? I don't think so. We did the last one we did. He had like a like a beanie on, right?
Maybe. I feel like we've done a couple of his.
We have. I feel like
Yeah,
the last one we did was with the pink bricks in the background right there.
do that one.
So this is going to be what the one that this is Dirt Nap, and I don't know, do we do one with that red background like that?
Let's do it again. No,
I know, I know. That's what I don't want. I don't think we've ever done that. I mean, we'll know right away. And I watched like the first couple minutes of it. I don't think we did
I was gonna say there's a chance I may have watched it on my own anyway. I'm not sure, but
this. It's probably. All
I
right, so
can't
we're
remember
gonna
if we
do it.
did.
We're gonna do Kyle Kinane. I'm not gonna lie to you. We do this all the time, talk about our favorite comedians. I feel like this dude might get forgot about when I talk about mine.
Yeah,
This dude is unbelievable.
he's so good.
But the other guy that I want to do is also one of my favorite guys too. But we've got time for that. We got time for that, even though too many people come out with too many good specials.
Yeah, Kyle Kinane is a guy. I have a list of people I want to see, especially in person. And Kyle Kinane is a guy I need to add to that list. I
So,
want to see him in person.
yeah. So look at this. So this says Kyle Kinane Dirt Nap 5 months ago. Kyle Kinane Shocks and Struts 7 months ago.
Oh yeah, I think that's when it was posted.
Oh, okay. Well, this definitely looks like a whiter beard, most newest one.
Yeah,
And guess what? It was posted by 800-pound gorilla.
there you go.
So that's got to be legit 5 months ago,
That
right? Because that
probably
is
is.
on the 800-pound gorilla site.
Yeah,
Kyle Kinane, it is. We're doing Kyle Kinane.
love it,
Absolutely.
love it. Um, okay, so I wrote that down under Mount Rushmore, so I'm gonna change that.
Sorry,
Mount
I gave you one yesterday.
Mount Rushmore. No,
You wrote
I
down the
wrote
thing
Kyle
under.
Kinane under
All
Mount
right, so
Rushmore.
I did my best to talk that out.
Oh, I gotta come up with a Mount Rushmore. No, just kidding.
Well done.
Um,
That's what I would have been doing because the whole time you were talking, I'd have been listening to you and not paying attention to anything in the room. Because every time we do this, I start looking around the room. So we've done two video games.
yeah, yep. We have our favorite things, I feel like. We've done a bunch of different sports ones. We love to do wrestling, Mount
Wrestling's
Rushmores.
big. Yep.
Yeah, we've done a bunch of comedy ones. Um, I want to do something that's going to be really, really hard, but I think we should not, don't overdo it. It should be a pretty good, you'll have like a number of them in your head anyway, and then you can do a quick Google search and come up with whoever you think. Just
Yeah, that's usually how when we do this, it's usually I've got two that I know I'm gonna have. And then I hit it up and I'm like, ooh, 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 ooh. There's 4 or 5 more. All right. All right. Now we're talking.
Mount
He's writing
Rushmore,
down.
Mount Rushmore of people with big noses. Mhm. I'm looking at the guy above you right now.
Can I put myself
I'm,
on there?
listen, you're going to have to come up with a list. And if you make the cut from that list, then sure. You know, I'm looking at two right now that I'm thinking about.
Yeah.
Um,
There's another baseball player not pictured down here with one of the best ever.
yeah.
Also married to one of the you know best birthday song singers ever around.
Oh, right, 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 right.
Yeah,
Yes,
I knew
I
I'd get you
gotcha.
there. I knew
Yep,
I'd get you there.
that's right. Yeah, that'd be another one. I think the guy who won our ugliest man
Who
in baseball
who
contest.
did win that?
Um,
Was
shoot.
that Bob? Was it the pitcher, that big ugly pitcher that kind of looked a little bit like Andre the Giant? Bob Walk?
No, no. It was an old guy. Oh my gosh, I can picture him.
I got to go back to the
Oh,
tweet box.
he had real big ears and a real big
Yes,
nose.
yes, yes, yes. Pittsburgh Pirates.
Yeah, probably.
Glasses. He had glasses. Did he have
Did he?
glasses?
I didn't.
I don't
Anyway,
know,
all right, go look up episode 3 or whatever.
dude. That's We're at episode 302.
That's right.
We do them once a week,
Uh-huh.
and we miss probably 5 a year.
Yeah.
That's, I mean, we're 6 years into this thing, bud.
I was thinking because I think all the time about especially every time I post each week, and I'm like, wow, 300, 301. And and Joe Rogan's podcast popped up. He's it's
3,426.
like 2,200 or 2,300 and something legitimately.
I mean, there's a point in time where that dude was doing like 5 a week.
Yeah, he still
He was
does a
doing
couple,
2 a day. There were times where he would record 2 in a day.
and they're 3 hours long.
That's insane.
Yeah,
I can't believe he's still the number one podcast. That's impressive.
he is. Yeah, I don't see him falling off, man, until he decides not to do it anymore.
I don't know.
Yeah, or until we overtake him.
Yeah, we're there. Whenever, if we really wanted to,
Mhm.
I feel like we could do it.
Yeah,
We would have to. We need a little bit more marketing on our backside.
sure.
We need a little bit more producing.
Mhm.
Someone to give us a little better topics.
We need,
So we need a different podcast.
and we need $200 million like he has.
I don't think, but he did that before the $200 million. He was there before the 200 mil.
He had, yeah. I mean, wasn't it like 500 million his contract,
Oh yeah.
something like that. So
The big thing is, so every celebrity has a podcast.
yeah,
A list, B list, C list, D list, E list has a podcast. It's always going to be better than whatever we do.
we're E-list celebrities. I feel like,
E?
yeah,
I'll take that any day of the week.
yeah.
You feel like we're E list celebrities?
I think we're E-list celebrities. Yeah.
Okay. I will take that. So to be an E list celebrity, you just got to know 30% of the people in your township.
You have to know 30% of the people in your township. First of all, that's the number, and then you had to have done at least 300 episodes of a podcast.
Oh, that's what puts it up there is the
I think so.
300 episodes. That's what gets us to the E list.
And you have to know 30% of the people in your township.
I don't know. I'm just trying to figure out how to be a celebrity. Like, I feel like everybody has to know who you are to be a celebrity.
Well, not everybody, but
30% of the people.
30% of the people in your township do.
I feel like I might know 30% of the people in my township.
You might. You might.
I'm not going to know their names at all.
You've seen them though, maybe.
We've made eye contact. I might have given you a hello, a really good "How are you today?" and make you remember who I was.
Oh yeah,
That's what I want.
I can see that.
I want to walk by and go, "Hey, how you doing today?"
Mhm.
And you go, "I'm good, thanks," and walk away and go, huh, "Guy actually kind of seemed like he cared how I was doing today."
Actually cared.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's nice.
It's just like a smile. It's
You-
just like a smile.
Yeah, you make the township better.
I try every day.
Mhm.
Every day. I want to run for.
What would you run for?
I don't know what you can run for. Oh, trustee.
Trustee.
Yeah, we have township trustees.
Yeah. Well, you're a
Township
trustworthy
trustee.
guy, I imagine.
Yeah, half the time.
Well, yeah. You could do trustee. You could do comptroller, whatever that is. You could
What
do.
is a comptroller?
No idea.
I got my Mount Rushmore for next week. Mount Rushmore comptrollers.
Oh, I hope we do that. Please do that one. I'm gonna Google what is a comptroller, and I'm gonna say most famous comptroller.
Most famous comptroller. Oh, that's good. Believe it or not, Bob Hope was the comptroller of his subdivision. I don't even know.
Oh,
I don't know what a comptroller is. It's a really good
No.
question. All right. Once again, we can't ever figure out how to end this
Our
podcast.
producer wasn't on vacation. We'd have him look it up.
He would take care of it. He'd throw it up on the screen for us.
Yeah.
That's what Joe does all the time. He just puts it up on dudes, boom, throws it on the screen. And everybody goes, "Oh, it's already up there.
Right.
That guy's great. How do you do that?"
Joe Rogan, you mean?
Yeah.
He's got a Jamie. Yeah.
Yeah, Jamie. That's the
Yeah.
guy. Yeah, Jamie.
Right.
Jamie. We need a Jamie.
Yeah.
We got a TV. It's just never on.
Yeah.
Hook it out. We could hook that thing up to a computer screen or a computer at any time.
That'd be perfect.
I always wanted your brother to be the producer of this podcast. If your brother was here and had a microphone and just said 13 words per podcast, this would be one of the funniest podcasts to ever walk the face of the earth.
I agree with you.
I wouldn't even be close. Like 13 words from him in the right, because he always puts them in the right place. Funniest podcast ever.
If you're ever looking, speaking of 13 words, if you're ever looking for a really, really relaxing, calming, quiet, gentle music,
Yeah.
download the album called 11 Words
11
by
words.
David Foster. It's beautiful. Give it a shout. Give it a try out.
David Foster, 11 words.
That's right.
I like this.
David, wow. Right on the hand.
Yeah. That's the only way I want to remember.
Mm. I'm looking around the room at all the papers.
Yeah, but I'm never gonna. This paper will all be down here when I leave. If I'm actually gonna look at this, I'll have that, and then you'll be done. You'll go. We'll do a little 2-2 knuckle thing. You'll leave. I'll come in. I might have one more cocktail because it's my birthday right now. Right now, oh, 3 minutes,
Hey,
and then I'll go. "Ah, I'm gonna listen to David Foster, 11 words. I might have a cocktail, listen to David Foster, 11 words, and bring in my birthday.
he's one of the greatest music producers to ever live and pianists.
So, ooh, pianist. One of my favorite words to
Yeah.
ever live. Yeah.
Mhm.
I would love to be a pianist,
Yeah.
especially on a grand piano.
There's something
I'd like to be a
so
grand pianist.
elegant and classy about it.
There is. There is. That's
And I'm
no
telling
joke.
you, that's what exactly what
guy's
you're
name?
gonna think of when you
Joe,
listen to that.
what was the guy's name? So, if you were in the band at Elder,
Yeah,
you could take orchestra over at Seton.
Joe Salem.
Joe Salem. Joe Salem. That man
He was a
was a
musician, buddy.
master of the keys, bud.
Yeah.
I don't know what he played in the band, couldn't tell you. But I know I'd go over there and play an orchestra, and I was in the saxophone, and I was a saxophonist, a saxophonist, pianist, saxophonist, saxonist, whatever I was. Um, I couldn't play. I mean, I could read music, but I couldn't memorize it. That son of a gun would go over there and start tickling the ivories.
Yeah.
And those ladies, before the teacher would get there, he would just go, but and go crazy. And like girls would just be sitting next to him, watching him. And I'm like, this dude, I wish I could play the piano. I'd have so much game if I could play the piano.
That dude could play the piano. He played the
Steel drums.
he's played the steel drums. He
Oh, sorry.
played one of the was it a marimba or something like
No
the
idea.
xylophone kind of
Sure.
thing. There are like a
Okay.
few different kinds. He played that.
Play the xylophone. I played that when I was like 3 or 4 too.
He played it for real. He knew how to play it. He played like some other percussion instruments. He was one of the smartest guys in our class, and he was the hairiest guy I've ever
Oh,
seen as a
by far.
sophomore in high school.
Dude had hair coming out of his back shirt. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
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 That he was a man in high school.
Dude could tickle the
He could
ivories.
tickle him.
That's the dude that had to shave.
Yeah.
That's a dude that'd shave in the morning. And at the end of the day, 5 o'clock shadow, like he's probably getting in trouble by some of his
Oh,
seventh bell.
Coach and I definitely wanted
Yeah.
to give him the merits. Of
Seventh
being-
bell is probably like, dude, you're supposed to shave. And I shaved I literally shaved on my way to school so it would be a little bit closer.
Coach and I and Coach Lewis, the biggest
Oh
people
my
with this.
God, Mr. Lewis.
They wanted to. Oh God! If your shirt was untucked, if you had too much of a beard, if your sideburns were too long,
God,
yeah.
Mr. Lewis. I
That's
love
right.
Mr. Lewis, dude.
Yeah, he's kind of cool now.
I
talked
actually
to
liked
once
him. I actually liked him as a teacher.
in a while.
I did, like is all the trouble. I never got in trouble, but I did brick sheets all the time because I was talking or shirt untucked, whatever. Shirt tail. That was his shirt tail. Shirt tail.
Right.
And brick sheet. Who's he said? Brick sheet.
That Joel Vanoli?
Joel Vanoli. Brick sheet. Get brick sheets, dude. I made some money off brick sheets back in high school. Did I ever tell that story?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think you told me
I
that.
used to make money off those. I kill those things. I come home with like 12 brick sheets. Not from me. None of them were mine, but I got $5 a brick sheet.
You did 12 brick sheets and none of your homework.
My homework at all. I did all my homework in homeroom. Whoever was in my class that sat around me in homeroom, hey, did you do vocab? Let me get that vocab work. Let me get that real quick. All right, appreciate you. Hey, did you do social studies? Yeah, let me get that world cultures real quick.
Oh,
Yeah. But I got them brick sheets done. Got that cash. Got that cash. $5 a brick sheet. And if you didn't give me the
that's
five
worth
dollars,
it too.
I needed the $5 before you gave me the paper. Because sometimes they'd be like, "Oh man, I ain't got $5." Like, well, I'm not giving it to you. And be like, "Well, I guess I get detention now." I'm like, "Okay, I guess you did." But now you don't have to do the brick sheet, so I'm not getting my $5. So I started getting the $5 before I did the brick sheets. And then yeah, because I'd do it. I'd write the first one out, see where it went, and I'd do the second one, and I'd just write the first letter, get it in the right spots, and then I wrote the second word, then the third word, all the way up and down.
Did that really make it faster?
I don't know if it did or not, but I felt like it did, and
Okay.
I moved through that thing, dude. Moved through them.
I think I may have had like 3 brick sheets while I was there.
Really? That's
Something like
it?
that. I
Oh,
think
dude,
so.
I probably got 30 myself, and
Mm.
I probably did close to 200.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah. I loved them. I had no problem with them at all. My arm would hurt like hell by the
Oh
time I was
yeah.
done, but I
Oh
didn't
my
bother.
God.
They didn't bother me at all. Oh, I talk too much. Sorry. Okay, I'll take my brick sheet.
Did you ever do a brick sheet for somebody though, and it ended up being like, because once in a while teachers would be
Teacher
like,
would look at it.
well,
Yeah.
we'll look at it, or they would make, because you had like a paragraph you had to write, right?
Yes.
That was on the brick
Yes.
sheet. But
Yes.
some teachers would be like, I want you to write this word or these 3 words for the whole brick sheet. Like they would change with the brick sheet what you had to write on the brick sheet.
I couldn't tell you. I feel like all the ones I had were it had a little paragraph on top, and then you wrote that out,
Right.
and that's how it went.
Yeah.
One time I did a brick sheet for a dude, and
For a
it
dude.
didn't end. It didn't
Oh.
end on the last word, and I went, "Oh shit, what do I do now? I screwed up somewhere." So in my little like write one word, go down like and just fill it out that way. I was like, I don't know what's gonna happen, and gave it to him, and I was like, I'm just gonna let you know, you get your $5 back if you get in trouble for this. I don't know where I screwed up, but I screwed up somewhere, and I'm 3 words off at the bottom. Sorry. And he never even no. Most of the time, you handed those in, and teachers just take them and get rid of them. I don't think they ever looked or paid attention to it. But I did when I did one was off, and I was like, whatever, turn it in, and I was like, there wasn't enough bricks, and he goes, I have 500 copies of this. There's exactly enough bricks. They give them out all the time. You're the only one that's been wrong. So he goes, the whole point is not to write one word at a time. It's to rewrite over, I will not talk while I'm in class, or I will make sure my shirt is tucked in, or whatever.
Yeah.
And it ends on that. That's the point of these. He's like giving me this big lecture, and I'm like, it's a brick sheet. Well, give me all the lecture you want. I did it. All right. I wrote a whole bunch of words down. Are you happy?
Yeah.
Get out of my face. Come on. Don't you know I do this for a living?
You really did. You were a professional brick sheet maker, filler outer.
Yep.
Oh.
Used to love it. Anyway, we're done. We've got Kyle Kinane and we have best noses, biggest noses,
People with big noses.
and just people.
Just
People.
yeah, it doesn't have to be the biggest noses, but it has to be. They have to have a noticeably big nose, and it could just be your favorite people who have big noses,
I like it. I like it.
or
Yeah.
it could be the biggest noses. However you
Well,
want.
it's not going to be the biggest noses because those are going
Yeah.
to be crazy. It's going to be
It's gonna be
so. I'm probably going to go with some kind of sports or celebrity. Oh yeah, of course. There's a reason that people would call me No More Garcia Parra. That's why he was one of my favorite people because of the schnoz. We had the same nose. Get the right angle, bud. We're ugly as sin. Get the best angle, and we're just ugly.
No.
All right.
No.
On that note, don't forget to turn your headlights on.